Well, welcome. I think I'm on. Yeah, I'm on. Hey, let's check out this. I'm still switching things manually. I'm working on getting things set up. Welcome to the First Layer. My name's Richard Cleveland. I am your host here, and I will be your host here from now on, every Sunday at 2 p.m. We did change our time. We're going to 2 p.m. on Sundays. I like that time. It kind of gives me the morning to wake up and get any chores done that I have to do. I'm taking a look here in the chat. I want to say hello to Duff from Winnipeg. We've got non-fan from Quebec, Ricky B from Lancaster, California. BDW, hello from Minnesota. Hello. Ricky says, I'm home from the hospital walking with an aid of a walker. You know the type, the one with the front wheels and the tennis balls on the rear. Ricky, I hope that you're doing much better. I want to, while we're talking about people and their issues, my good friend Tim, DeWitt 3D, if you haven't subbed to his channel, please go ahead and do that. His whole household has been sick for quite a bit and for at least the last few days. And we want to wish them all well as well. We hope that they get over all of their illnesses. Also, I want you all to please send out some warm thoughts to our friend Peter Reynolds, who has been sick as well, going through some other issues. I don't want to get into the details of it, but he is doing well. I'm using the new hardware today. I'm streaming directly from the new hardware. We have the ATEM Mini Pro ISO. We're not going to get into that today. We're not going to talk too much about that, but I do want to talk about some things today that we've got on the desk here. This is stuff that Tim, as you guys know, I've been over at Tim's. I've been helping him get his stuff put together. Just straightening out his studio with audio and video and lighting and just sort of organizing things, helping him to organize things and get the best look that he can get on camera. But he gave me a couple of things. One is called the Creality box. You guys may have seen me put up a post about this. We've got the Creality box and we've got the Creality 3D pad. We're going to open them today live. We're going to do a live unboxing of these today. And then I'm going to do a video and we'll tell you exactly how they work. I don't know much about these. So if you've got questions, we're going to try and answer them today. Looks and sounds great. Thank you very much. The volume's not too low, I hope. I hope the volume is good. We also have this. If you are not subscribed yet, please make sure that you go ahead and subscribe. I still have to set up the Stream Deck, so I've got little one button pushes. But I am working on that. Here's something else that we've just added. For all of our members, I want to thank all of our members, those who have stuck with us throughout the year. We've had our ups and downs. It's my way of acknowledging you guys. We've got the ticker now at the bottom to just thank you all. If you want to become a member, there's a join button there that you can go and check out. Duff, did you help Tim by hiding all the sharp things? No, I did not. But hey, there's Peter Reynolds, moved. Moved? I hope he didn't move. Peter Reynolds, I was just talking about you. I hope you're doing well, my friend, or you are on the mend. I know that things have been kind of rough for you, so I hope that you are on the mend. We're going to talk a little bit about matter control today as well. But seeing as Peter Reynolds is here, this is my official opening knife. So I'm going to just switch to this camera. This is my official unboxing knife. Let's call this my official unboxing knife. This is something that Peter actually made. I think he made it a few years ago when he was making knives and little pocket knives. This thing is sharp as hell. And I've cut myself a couple times on it. But it's so cool because it comes apart, you see? And then you can store the blade in the handle. I love this thing. I know it's not tech, but it is kind of tech to me. But it's really very cool. I really like it. Let's see what's going on here. Kyle Watson, he says, I do have a question about a printer. I have this in this stream a okay to ask on. Yes, Kyle, you can ask any question. I do want to preface by saying put Q in front of your question so I know that you have a question. That way I can kind of see it because I have the chat up in front of me here so that I can see what's going on. Alteracious, hello, Alteracious. Joseph Jolly, good afternoon, everyone. RT, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to both you guys as well, all of you guys. Bob Love, hi from the UK. Hi, Bob Love. It's got to be evening in the UK, I would believe. Making knives is cool stuff, yes. Peter used to make these things. It's so cool. I love these. These are awesome. Let's just switch back to this camera. But we are going to unbox this. So let's go back. And we are going to, how well that shows up on camera. Hopefully it shows up okay. So this is the Creality Achieve Your Dreams Creality box. I'm not sure exactly what this thing does. But I imagine it's some sort of wireless box. So we're just going to pop into it here. We'll see exactly what this thing does. All right, we'll get rid of that. Put that over there. There we go. So inside this box, we have Creality box. This is your instructions, I'm assuming. Notice, equipment introduction, that sort of thing. There is a Japanese section and there is an English section. So there is an English section. I really don't know what this does. It has an RJ45 port. You can connect printers or cameras to it, from what I understand. It's got a micro USB socket, a TF card connector, and a reset button, some lights, and that sort of thing. So it's not very big. You can see I've got pretty big hands. It's a little tough getting it out of here, but there we go. So this is the unit itself. It's pretty tiny. Like, it can fit right in my hand. It's not that big at all. But there's our TF slot, so we can put in our micro SD card. There is our reset. On the back, we have our 5-volt power supply. We have 2 USBs. I imagine those are 2.0. I don't think they're 3.0. So those will be 2.0. And then we have our RJ45, which looks to be the same size as a network port, which is not a phone port, but a network port. So let's see what else we got here in the box. Just having a quick look to see if we've got any questions yet. Nope, not yet. So inside the box, we have a USB cable here with a USB mini jack. I believe that's called a mini jack. So we'll put that one aside. Then we have the exact same cable, so we have a duplicate cable there. And then in the center, there's this little adapter, which will go from the mini jack to a micro, or actually this is a USB mini. So it will kind of connect to one of these cables. These cables then would connect to this, and this end would go onto your printer. I believe that would go onto your printer so that you can wire this up somehow. So we are going to do a full setup of this, and we're going to set it up on the printer at some point in time in the very near future, and we'll see exactly what this thing does. Now, I've heard some people say that this could be a giant paperweight. It's not that heavy, so it may not be a paperweight. We'll find out. Okay, so that's what that does. Let's just kind of toss all this back in the box for now, and we'll put that aside because we're going to use that in an upcoming video. Okay. All right, let's have a look quickly. What do we have here? We got any questions? I used to make knives in high school metal shop, Ricky B says. Awesome. I hear it is a great paperweight. Yes. Watch it just be an empty box. Well, it wasn't an empty box. Well, it could be still. We don't know that anything yet. I'm guessing it's pretty much a little web server for the printers. I would think so too. Hey, there's Mark L. Baker. Hello, Mark. It's been a while. Non-fam. Okay. Kyle Watson, he says, I have a CR-10 V3. I have one of those right behind me, as a matter of fact. And the filament runout sensor is not responding. I tried to put a new one on and it still won't work. Is there a firmware fix so that the printer just forgets the runout sensor? There is firmware. You can adjust the firmware on it by getting a copy of the original firmware and then going in through Marlin or some sort of editor that will allow you to turn off that sensor. However, on the V3, if you're having a problem and the sensor just quit, I would say that it is probably a cable issue more so than the sensor issue, because those sensors don't usually just quit on you. Let's go back to this camera here. All right, there we go. Yeah, I would say those sensors don't just quit on you. They should be working just fine. I think it's probably going to be a cable more than anything else. So yeah, but you can go ahead and download the latest version of their firmware. Usually they have it on their website. Just go into their support section on the Creality website and you should be able to find the latest version of the firmware as an editable file. Okay. Okay, I can look at the wire. Okay, great. I tried G-code and it still does the same thing. Yeah, don't use G-code. I would definitely try the wire first. It probably sounds like you have a break in your wire somewhere. And the way that those things are mounted, it wouldn't surprise me that there's a break in the wire. Alterations. I've done a ton of changes to my Ender 3 Pro. What steps would you start with to recalibrate a printer from scratch? Dual drive extruder, linear rail kit, dual Z motors, BL Touch, cast aluminum bed. First and foremost, I would start by checking everything is square. Level is not necessarily the right term to use, but I want to make sure that everything's square. So, and I want to make sure that my gantry is all nice and square to the frame as well. So all of my uprights, everything I want to make sure is square. First and foremost, I want to make sure that all of my nuts and bolts are tight. Then I would move on to doing my calibration for the bed, leveling the bed, making sure that I've got the proper offset going. Make sure that whatever slicer that you're using knows that you have a dual drive extruder. Linear rail kit, you may want to adjust the timing on it so that it moves properly and you're not getting anything out of whack when you print. So that's kind of the way that I would go on that. Gary T, hello Gary T, welcome, welcome, welcome. Non-fam, seems like all this stuff should be on its own VLAN or hardwired network. Are you talking about the video today? I hope not. Are we in sync? I want to make sure that the audio is in sync with the video because I can't tell just by looking at it. I am not even recording this. RH3D, hey, got my tips for making money with 3D printing, or is the market already saturated? I wouldn't say that the market's already saturated. I just want, first, before I answer this, I just want to remind you, please put a Q in front of your question if you've got one today. Please give us a like if you're getting some value out of today. But yeah, audio, video is fine. Great, thank you. This is the first time I'm actually streaming from the Stream Deck. That's why I wanted to know. Hey, got any tips for making money with 3D printing? I would go and check out some of the online services, your market services that will allow you to do that. Check with people in your local area, see if it's something, attend some of your local craft fairs, bring some of your 3D printing to craft fairs. We've done that in the past. I don't do a lot of printing for client work anymore. I'm trying to get away from that, to be perfectly honest with you. Doing that, for me, I just don't have the time. With everything that I do, not only for my show, the first layer, but also the stuff that I do for filaments.ca. Speaking of filaments.ca, they have their Black Friday sale, which is on until tomorrow. So if you're looking for some really great deals on filament, go check out filaments.ca for all of your filament needs. They are Canada's premier source for filament, as well as Canada's largest manufacturer of filament. So yeah, that being said, I would check out some of your local craft fairs. Go to, put some ads up on Facebook Marketplace, if that's something you want to do. Open up an Etsy shop. There's plenty of 3D printing Etsy shops. And there's a lot of people that are doing very successful on Etsy, especially this time of year because it is Christmas. With it being Christmas, it can be, we're in that Christmas season, so it can be very lucrative for you because it's a unique gift. I've seen it before and I'll continue to see it again. So I think that it's something that's worthwhile to try out if that's something that you're into. But yeah, that's what I would probably do. I think that that's the best way to try and make money with 3D printing. Remember that 3D printing, you are going to have failures, so don't get discouraged. Just talking about all these networked printers and devices, Duff was mentioning. Make some art and find a local bazaar, sell some stuff there. Yeah, that's probably the best way to go, Kyle. I would say so too. That's probably the best way to go. All right, let's go ahead and open this one. Postage will kill you. Yes, postage will kill you. I'm trying to keep my coffee out of the way. So we're going to go ahead and open this guy. Again, this came from DeWitt 3D. He had a couple extras of these, so he said, go ahead, try it out. So let's go back over here. We're going to take our wonderful pocket knife from our friend Peter Reynolds. We're going to open that side, and we're just going to open this side. Now, this is a screen, a touch screen that you can add to just about any 3D printer, from what I understand. So let's just get in and check it out. That is gorgeous. We have, it's got some weight to it. It's really nicely done. I'm not going to do the peel just yet. On the back side, we can see we have a speaker and RJ11 connector. This is the same type of connector we had on our phone lines for those of us that are old enough to remember having an actual landline phone. Underneath that, what do we have? We have some instructions on how to use this. So we'll put that aside, and then we have another box inside as well as some other goodies. Okay, so on the very bottom pad we have a connector, as well as there seems to be some magnets in here and a filament detection switch. Now, I wonder if this is the exact same type of switch that is already on my Creality CR-10 V3. If it is, I won't be replacing it. This little connector, I'm going to assume, connects you to the back of that. I haven't read the instructions yet, so we'll find that out in a little while. Let's put this guy back in there because we don't need him right at the moment. We don't need those little magnets. And then there looks like there is some sticky pads here, or Velcro pads, or pardon me, rubber pads. And then in this box, we have a micro USB and some cabling. All right, so let's just dump everything out. All right, let's push that out of the way. So here we have another USB cable. You probably have a couple dozen of these kicking around your home. there is our cable for our filament sensor. This is a USB-C cable. Then we have that RJ11 cable, which is coiled. And then we have another USB cable. So on the side of this unit, we can see that we have a place for a card and for a USB. So again, we're going to be putting this all together at some point in the very near future and do a full video on it and see exactly how this works and see if this stuff is really worth your money. Because at the end of the day, to be honest with you, companies put a lot of this crap out, and I'm not going to say, I shouldn't say crap, but they put a lot of this kind of stuff out just to make a little extra money. So yeah, something to be aware of. All right. So let's push all this stuff over and out of the way. Now, we're not going to end at 3 o'clock like we normally would. We're going to keep going. Excuse me. Ricky B's question is, I have about 100 rolls of film, about equally split between PLA, PETG, ABS. Does it have a shelf life if still in manufacturer's packaging? Depends if that packaging has been punctured in any way. I know sometimes you can run into issues where you put you open up the box and then you close the box, and the cardboard on that box will put a little hole or a little cut in that bag, and then it'll let air in. But at the end of the day, filament is not perishable, so it doesn't really have a shelf life. The problem is if you're in a humid climate, a climate that has a lot of humidity, you are going to run into issues where your filament is going to absorb moisture from the surrounding air. Now, ABS, not so prone to it, but PETG and PLA both are prone to, or are both hygroscopic, so they're prone to actually grabbing that moisture from the air, so it can be a bit of a problem. That being said, if you're nervous at all about it and you've got yourself a filament dryer, I would just dry it once you open it. And, if it's PLA, you're going to dry it for about 4 hours at about 50, 55 degrees. If it's PETG, you're going to up that to about 60 degrees and dry it for just a couple of hours. I have a filament dryer back there that I use quite often. So it is kind of interesting. Peter Reynolds says, you can't run your BL Touch when you install this unit. I bought from Amazon SRT it up and then sent it back. Okay, well, that's interesting to know. I don't have a BL Touch on the version 3, so we should be okay there, which is all right. Peter, again, I hope you're feeling much better. And yes, I'm drinking coffee from my YouTube cup. That being said, what else have we got going on here? We've got yeah, I think that's pretty much it there. All right, let's I want to show you guys, I get a lot of questions about what is a temperature tower. Now, I know a lot of people that watch my live streams know exactly what a temperature tower is. And, but they don't know how to make one. I have Matter Hacker's Matter Control 2.0 on the laptop right here beside me. I'm going to just switch to that right now. So here's Matter Control. When we look at Matter Control, this is our interface. So we can see we've got the Creality CR-10 already loaded here at the top. And what's unique about this software is that it has a ton of different manufacturers' printers in it, which is very cool. Secondly, it has a resource tab and a library tab. Now, the library tab is the most important tab here, because in there you can see that there is Cloud Library, Computer, Design Apps, History, Printers, and Shared with Me. So there's a lot of stuff that can be done there. You can also see there's a variety of different shapes that are all available to you as well. But what we're interested in is we are interested in design apps. So we're going to double click that and we're going to open up. And you can see there's 5 categories in here: calibration parts, categories, printives, Pro Tools, and purchased. What we want is the calibration parts. So when we open up the calibration parts, you can see that we have an ABS temperature tower. We have a calibration box. We have a calibration circle. We have the matter control coin. There's the matter control or the Matter Hackers logo. We have a PETG temperature tower. Filament, their little astronaut. There is also a PLA temperature tower, retraction cubes, and a set temperature. What we want to do for our demonstration today is we're going to go the PLA temp tower. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to right click on this and you're going to say add to bed. If you double click it, it will open in its own separate window. So we're going to go add to bed. Now, if we go back over to our Creality CR-10, we can see that it's added it to the bed. All you have to do here is put in your maximum temperature. And in that maximum temperature, you're going to say, okay, well, if this is PLA, for instance, and the max temperature is 235, you're going to want to make sure that you know exactly what those temperatures are going to be. And I'm going to show you a temperature tower that I printed right now. And then we'll come back to this. So on this temperature tower, you can see that we go from 240 all the way down to 210. And each one of these is a different temperature. Each one of these sections is a different temperature. So going back to our example here on screen, if we have sections, let's say we're going from that 240 to 210, we are going to first make our maximum temperature 240 degrees. Okay? 240 degrees. All right. We're not going to change the amount, but we are going to change how many sections. So in our case, 240 to 210, which is our range, we are going to make sure that we have 7 sections. That will take us from 240 down to 210 at 5 degree increments. So in this case, we're going to change that number to 7. And we can see here that our temperature tower has now changed. Okay? So once we've done that, we can just basically go slice. And we don't have to make any temperature changes because it's already done for us once it's finished slicing. And there is our model all sliced. And now we'll just bring this up. I'm using a laptop, so it's kind of slow. There we go. So there is our slice model. Now, how do we save that? We're going to go to where it says save here. And we are going to go export. Once we say export, it's going to bring us up this dialog box. And it will be machine file G-code is the one that you want to make sure has been checked. And then you'll just say export. It'll export it to wherever you want it to go. Pardon me. And I'm just going to put it in my documents. We'll just say save. And it is now going to export that to that file. You'll probably want to put this onto your SD card. Once it's done exporting, you just go ahead and put this right into your printer and let this print. And this is going to print you off this temperature tower. Okay, or a temperature tower like this. And all you want to do is make sure that you have your highest temperature at the bottom, and then it's going to go down to its lowest temperature based on how many segments that you have put here. So if Again, if you're 210 to 240 on your filament, it should say it right on the box or on the reel what your temperature range is going to be. You're just going to divide that by 5, and that'll tell you how many segments you want. Okay? All right, let's get back to see Tom Taylor. Hello, sir. He says, I just saw a thing that said it would not work with the CR or BL Touch. You will have to contact them for the software. Okay, well, that's interesting to know. You'll have to try it, but they are talking you will have to reflash your motherboard with the right firmware if it is in the bottom where the reviews are. They can have it. I will stick with the stock screen. You know, because it was given to me, let's try it out. Why not? What's it going to hurt? It's not going to hurt us at all. So, but getting back to what we were talking about with these temperature towers, you guys hear me talking about this a lot. One of the things that you want to make sure of is, depending on the material that you're using, will depend on if you're going to have cooling or not. There's another issue that you want to make sure that you've got set up in your slicer to make sure that your cooling is on or off. Apparently you can do this now in Cura as well. There are temperature towers like this in Cura, or they have calibration models. I haven't looked into how to use them yet. I will be doing a video on that coming up very soon. So that's something to watch out for. We are forging ahead. We've got some new equipment here in the studio. And Tim has got some new equipment in his studio as well. We're going to be doing okay with the new equipment, and we're going to expand so things are a little bit easier and things run a little bit more smoothly. Going over to here, let's see if we can hit that subscribe button. Nope, it did not come up. Well now, why did it not come up? It should have come up. Nope, that doesn't come up either. And neither does that anymore. All right, well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. All right, let's see if we can do this. Nope, still not working. All right, well, it was working earlier. Oh, this would be why. Yeah. See, I have to get used to all this new hardware. It's like, yeah. Yeah, no problem, Tom. I didn't think that you were trying to stop the review. We've got it. We might as well try it. We'll see how it works, and we'll see if we can't get through it. So, again, down here at the bottom, we have our, let's see if we can run this for our members. Thank you very much. There we go. A big thank you to all of our members again. If you haven't hit like on this video, please do so. I know that we usually have people that hit that like button for us, but postage right now, Peter made a comment about postage. Postage is horrible right now. Absolutely horrible. And yeah, it's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. I don't know what to say about that, but it is what it is. So, that being said, we've got a lot of stuff to keep going on about. I want to talk to you a little bit about what you can expect from in the future. You can see we've got a little bit of a different look to our studio here now. We have been in the process of changing things around here, getting things set up properly for you guys. We are working on the lab here at home. My home studio lab will have all of my printers in it, and we'll be doing some filming in there in the new year as well, to show you guys how we do some printing and maybe take you through some of the other steps. I try and keep things like hot ends down here close to me. We're going to be talking about some new hardware in the future. This is an old board. This is the Big Tree Octopus board. But we know that Big Tree has some new stuff out. Tim was telling me about a shortage of parts for Raspberry Pi, and a lot of companies now are starting to incorporate Raspberry Pis into their hardware. So if you're building something like a Voron or any of those others that require you to use mainsail or some other type of interface. Having that Raspberry Pi is a really good thing. That being said, do I think it is going to be more expensive? Yes. Is there a chip shortage? That seems to be coming to an end now, that chip shortage. So Peter says, I got to go. Take care, Richard. Hopefully we'll talk soon. Glad you're back. Happy Christmas to everyone. Very Merry Christmas to you as well, Peter. I hope that you and your lovely wife and your family have a great Christmas, and I hope you're feeling better soon. We'll talk sometime this week. Peter's local to me, so he's become a very good friend, not only of the channel, but of myself personally. So I want to acknowledge that. Here we go. Let's hit that. Make sure that if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Okay. There we go. Bye, Peter. All right. So it's 2:36. Let's dive into some more questions. If you guys have questions, I've got your answers. So let's go ahead and dive into some more questions. Please put your questions in the chat with a Q in front of your question, so I know that it is a question. What else do we got to talk about? Oh. If you guys haven't seen me ranting and raving about this stuff, what is this? This is Regen. Regen is a very, very cool plastic. This is sold and manufactured by filaments.ca. I know I keep talking about them, but that's because I work for them and I get a lot of their filaments now to test, and so that I can understand the properties of them. If you guys have a suggestion for a project that we can do, what is different about this stuff here, this Regen? Regen is a plastic that is fully biodegradable. Let me see if I can pull it up here on this computer so I can quickly have a look at it. James Brewer, hope you had a great Thanksgiving and have a Merry Christmas. James, I hope that you had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope that you have a very Merry Christmas as well. Christmas is around my house. It's just my wife and I, so we don't really celebrate Christmas very much. We have a nice dinner, that kind of thing, but we don't really celebrate Christmas. Good or bad, it is what it is. But we enjoy our time. Alteracious, can you fix my printer live on stream? Fix a viewer's printer stream. I probably could. I would have to know what's wrong with it. And that would either require you bringing the printer here or me going there, but it would be easier if you brought it here because I have all the cameras set up here. So it might be a better thing if you brought it here. And I know that you're local, so yeah, we could do that. We could diagnose it on screen. Absolutely. Joking, sort of. I think that it's a good idea. Let me just type in here. But yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I'm just glad to see people use the Christmas word these days. Yeah, I'm old school, as you can tell. I'm gray. So yeah, I think I really think that that is something that we don't use enough of. We live in a cancel culture world now, which is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. But yeah, it's really weird. To me, it's still Christmas, even though I'm not religious in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, I think that I was brought up using the word Christmas. I'm still going to use the word Christmas. I say to, I call women dear, sweetie, young lady, kiddo, and I don't apologize for that. It's not that I'm trying to be sexist. It's not trying to be misogynistic. It's just the way that I was brought up, and it is the way that I talk. If anybody is disgusted by that and they want to cancel me, you're welcome to it. When you're getting into your later years, I'm a Gen Xer. I'm not a Gen Z. I'm a Gen X. I'm not a baby boomer. Fortunately enough, I was born right on the same year that the Gen X started. My wife is a baby boomer because she was born a year prior. But yeah, cancel culture is really weird. I want to bring back this show in a very strong way in 2023. 2022 was just a cluster, and it was a horrible year for myself. It was a horrible year for my family. Some of my friends had bad times this year as well, and it really was one of those years that just kind of sucked. So we are back, or I am back. The first layer is back. We're gonna do strong in 2023. I've got a lot of things planned and a lot of things that are worked out already. Duff, I'm just okay. I did read that. Alteration says, if you're up for it, I can for sure bring it there. I'll fire you a DM or something on Facebook or other medium. Yeah, let me know. Yeah, you can always, Alterations, you can fire me off a DM. Yeah, I think you're in my friends list anyway. James says he's older school than I am. He says he's 77 years young. Great. I'm glad that you feel that you are still young. I don't think 77 is old anymore. as I get closer to 60, I find that 70 is not that bad. Let's embrace all of the holidays regardless of religious beliefs. I agree. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Have you tried Regen PHA combustible filament wood? It looks like fun. I haven't tried the wood. This is their natural right here. I'm just going to pull up their page. So this is the page. This is a bioplastic made in Quebec by a company called Bosk, B-O-S-K. It is 100% bio-based. It's compostable and it's non-toxic. As we can see here, it's local and it's made by filaments.ca. It has good physical and mechanical properties comparable to those of traditional oil-based resins like PLA. It's 100% bio-based, does not contain recycled plastic or oil, only ingredients from plant biomass. So this material is completely plant-based. It is based on a recognized standard for products made with regen up to 3 millimeters. Okay, so it is compostable at 3 millimeters, and it is available. And it's non-toxic, safe for many applications since they contain known toxic additives. So does it make it food safe? I know somebody's going to ask that. Does it make it food safe? That I do not know. There is a ton of stuff that you can do with it, though. There's a lot of people that have done stuff with it. There's a handful of colors available. But yeah, it's made by Bosk and it's manufactured into filament by filaments.ca. And I got to tell you, I really like this stuff. I have now been using it for a number of weeks. I'm going to get some over to Tim so that he can try it out. And it prints like PLA. Here are some of the things. It prints at a much lower temperature. These I found, you'll notice that I've got some blue on here. If I go here, you can see that I've just used a Sharpie to bring out the numbers a little bit. Didn't do a very good job there, but you can see that at 195, that is probably the cleanest part of the print. And I can tell you, at 195, this stuff printed great. It did not clog my printer whatsoever, and I printed all of this stuff, as you can see here. It stuck to the bed at about 45 to 50 degrees. You can use a lower heat if you like. I do recommend that you use some sort of adhesion promoter, whether that be glue stick or anything like that. you do want to make sure that this sticks to the bed. And if you've got one of those textured glass beds, it may not stick very well to that. I did find if I flipped over my bed and just put it straight onto the glass with a little bit of glue stick, it worked really, really well. So, but it does print beautifully, and it's a really nice plastic. I like the regen, and I'm looking forward to using some of the other regens that are out there. Okay. So Leighton Westbury, have you ever had problems printing eSun's PLA Plus bone color? eSun for me has always been a up and down filament. It all depends on what eSun I'm using. I find that their ABS I have no problems with. I have had problems with their PLAs in the past. I've had problems with their PETGs. But I have not, I'll be perfectly honest, I haven't used their formulations in over a year, with the exception of their ABS. And I've got a ton of their ABS here that I still have to use on some projects. But I need to get an enclosure first before I can do that. But as far as that goes, I think that what is the exact problem that you're having? If you're having a specific problem, I'd like to be able to help you with that. That's why I do these shows, and so that I can help you go through some of those issues that you might be having with your 3D printing. So, Leighton, just let me know what's happening. You can put it right here in the chat. We've got lots of time still, so if you want to just expand on that problem, I'll be happy to help you. What else do I have coming up? I've got some smaller projects that I want to do. I do have the multi-material unit for the Prusa back there, which I've never built, and I should probably put that together. I know it's kind of outdated. We've got this stuff here from Creality we're going to test out and try out. We are going to do a couple of other things. We're going to give you a behind-the-scenes tour sometime in 2023 once it is completed in here, and then show you behind the scenes what kind of goes into what we do here, or what I do here, and show you the equipment that I use, because a lot of people are always interested in how do I get the video, the audio and the video that I get, and what printers do I use on a regular basis? What are my favorite printers? I haven't done a lot of printers in the last couple of years. I haven't reviewed a lot of printers in the last couple of years. So that has been kind of an up and down. But yeah, it's been very cool in terms of what we're getting into this year. There are a few printers I still have to do a review on. With some of my personal health issues that I had this year, I was unable to fulfill or meet an obligation, but I still want to get that video out, and that would be on the Flash Forge that I have sitting beside me here. I've got the B-roll done, but then I became quite sick, and I was unable to do the rest of it. But I do want to do the rest of it and get that video out, because I think that it's a good printer, and I think it'll work out really well. Thank you for your answer. It just prints a bit blobby and stringing, but a lower temp causes bed adhesion problems, so been trying to just balance stuff out. Okay, what is the recommended bed temperature? I believe on PLA Plus, you're dealing with a higher grade of material. So if I'm not mistaken, it's probably going to be using something in the 3D 850 to 870 range. Those are two very popular high temp base resins for PLA. And if that is the case, what you want to do is you want to make sure that your bed is at that 60 degree, 65 degree level. And then if you haven't done a temperature tower with it yet, Leighton, I would do a temperature tower, setting your bed at about 60 to 65 degrees, somewhere in that range. Try it at 60 first. Put a little bit of glue stick down on your bed. or something else, do not use hairspray. What is another product that I've used here in the past, which I don't even have the box for it because I think I threw it out. Or did I? I did. I did throw it out. I was wondering if I had thrown it out or not, but I did throw it out. And I have it way back there. It is a glue stick of sorts. Somebody remind me what it is, because you guys know. I don't use it very often. I'm a glue stick guy. I use Elmer's purple glue stick, which you can find at any office supply store, at Walmart in the office section, or even you can find it over in the kids art section, which is something that I use quite often, and I really enjoy it. So I think it's a good thing to use. I think everybody should use it. But you know, to each his own, right? So with that said, yeah, I would first and foremost go ahead and Magic Goo. Yes, thank you, DeWitt. Magic Goo. Yeah, Magic Goo. That's it. Why do I always forget that? Because it should remind me of Mr. Magoo, because that's a joke I made a number of years about Magic Goo. Yes. Magic Goo. I use Magic Goo sometimes. I use it on the Prusa. I don't use it on the glass so much. I probably should use it more, but I don't. And it goes a long way. It costs you a lot up front, but it goes a long way for a small tube. So something to keep in mind. But yes, go ahead and print a temperature tower if you're not sure how to do a temperature tower. Over on our YouTube page, which you're on right now, you will find a couple of videos on how to do a temperature tower inside of Cura. That's an older version of Cura, but things have changed a little bit. I'm sure you can find it. And I even talked about doing one today over on Matter Control. Matter Control, by the way, is free to download. Nanopolymer adhesive is a good product as well. DeWitt 3D says, yes, I haven't used it myself, but I will try it. It's one of those few that I have not tried. Randy, hello Randy, 3D Lac is another one. Yep, I've never used 3D Lac. I don't like hairspray. I don't believe anybody should use hairspray. There are plenty of people that swear by it. My issue with hairspray is when you spray it, that's an aerosol, so it goes into the air as well. So when it hits something, just like spray paint, think of it like spray paint. When you're spraying onto a hard surface, it's actually spraying away from that hard surface as well. It's not all just sticking. You're going to have that aerosol in the air. It's going to get on things. Hairspray gets on everything. Have you ever gone into the bathroom after your wife has sprayed her hair? Things start to feel sticky. And that's what hairspray does. It gets everywhere. So I don't recommend hairspray, but anything that you can wipe on to your print bed, I recommend. CA glue is another one. Gary T says, never worry about bed adhesion again. Yeah, CA glue you could use. However, you will never get that print off your bed, I don't think. Cyanoacrylate, which is a super glue, could be a problem. Gary, why are you saying that? Gary must be drinking. Gary's another person I know as well, very well. So, yeah, CA glue. I wouldn't recommend CA glue. No, don't use CA glue. Use it to put your parts together, but don't use it as a bed adhesive. Not in my mind. Yeah, one-time bed use only. You're right about that. It is one-time bed use only. So yeah, it's not something that I would use. But that being said, yeah, I would use purple glue stick. You can use watered down PA or PVA, which is just white glue. Hey, there's the Edge of Tech, Jim. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for the warm welcome there, Jim. I do appreciate that. Leighton, thank you again for your answer. And Temp Tower is a damn good idea, and I really appreciate your help. Well, I appreciate you tuning in today. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, everybody say hi to Jim from Edge of Tech. It's been a while since I've had any interaction with Jim as well. It's definitely been a while. Um, you know, the thing about bed adhesion is, and Jim will attest to this as well. There's so many out there. It seems like every few months somebody's coming out with something new, but you can't go wrong with the originals. And Glue Stick was one of the originals, and it's one of those things that um, you can get anywhere. It's not something that you have to go hunting for. It's not something you're going to pay a lot of money for. I've said this many times, at when it's time to go back to school, I usually go through the school supply area and I'll grab myself notebooks. I usually grab notebooks like this and keep them handy. And I also grab Glue Stick in the 3-pack. And the 3-pack, to be perfectly honest with you, lasts you quite a while. That's for $5 or so. I think you get 3 fairly decent sized tubes of glue, and they're going to last you a while. They clean up with water, so it's really, really easy. Yes, it has been way too long, that's for sure. I'm ashamed to say I've never printed a temp tower. One day I will. And DeWitt, I am going to come and twist your arm and make sure that you actually do print a temperature tower. I'll use my partner's Prit stick. I think it's just like Elmer's purple glue stick. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, the Prit sticks. Any kind of PVA glue stick is going to work just fine. It doesn't have to be the purple. I like the purple because when the purple disappears, I know that it's ready for me to print. So Tom Taylor says, I used this for a long time. Glue Stick made the 3D printer or made for 3D printing. Arsemic 3D printer, Glue Stick for a hot bed print filament, PLA, ABS, PETG, washable, anti-tilt, non-toxic. Glue stick, any type of PVA glue stick. It can be white, it can be purple, it can be Elmer's, it can be any other brand. There's tons of different brands out there. They all work just fine. Now, another thing that you can do, and I've seen this done before, I've never done it myself, but there are some guys that will just take white PVA glue, water it down, and just brush it onto their bed. Let it get tacky, and then start their 3D print. That's another way that you can do it as well. I mean, you can get a big bottle of white PVA glue stick or white PVA glue that's going to last you a long time, and it's easy to mix with water. So that's another way of doing it. I just prefer the glue stick. It's less mess. It's less hassle, and I can take it over to the sink when I need to wash it off, and it just washes off really, really quickly. Any more questions out there about bed adhesion? Jim, I'm so glad to see you here again, and thank you again for welcoming me back. I'm coming back in a big bad way. You guys can also find me over on the filaments.ca YouTube channel. I'm trying to get some live streams started over there. They need a boost getting their viewership up. They're just under 600 subscribers. And they're not quite at that 1,000 yet, so that I can start scheduling live streams for their products. And over there, I'm answering questions related to 3D printing, but more focused on products that they sell, like the Regen, and things like that. So it's a good way to kind of get more information about their products and how to use them. And I've been doing shorts for them recently. I'm doing more short form videos and some longer form videos as well. I'll be doing some more of those. So we're going to see exactly what's going on over there. He says, it is really great to see you, Richard. Hope to see much more on the channel soon. Yes, there will be a lot more coming on the channel soon. As I said, I've got some things I've got to clean up around here. And then we're going to get some brand new videos out. I don't know how many videos I'm going to do going into 2023. I think I'm just going to stick with live streams for now, just till the end of the year. We don't have very many left, and you know, kind of give you guys my view on different things. But come January, we're going gangbusters with our weekly video and our weekly live stream again. Leighton, he says, what's your opinion on bill plate materials? I have a PEI sheet. I like PEI. PEI is a good product. It's a great bed surface. Yeah, just press record. That's a joke between Jim and I. But yeah, PEI is a good surface. Depending on what you're printing at the time. I know for myself, when I print PETG on my Prusa, I like to put a little bit of glue stick down on top of that PEI sheet that is on that bed. The reason I do that is because PETG has a tendency to really grab surfaces, and it can, especially glass and things like PEI, and it can actually rip that PEI, especially if you're too close to the bed and you're really pushing that material down. When you're printing with stuff like PETG, you want a little bit more of a gap between the nozzle and the bed. When you're printing with PLA, you want to be a little bit closer to that bed. But PEI is great for PLA, for ABS, with no adhesion promoters in between. I think that is a great surface to use. I like glass. I like mirror especially over glass, even though mirror is technically glass. When you're using a mirror on your 3D printer, that surface is truly flat, or as flat as it can be. Because if it's not, and if you've been on this channel for any length of time, you'll know that a mirror glass has to be flat, because if it's not, it's going to give you that funhouse look. So it'll be distorted when you look into the mirror. So you'll know a mirror is nice and flat when you look into it and everything looks in proper perspective. So that being said, I like mirror better than just straight borosilicate glass, but mirror is a little bit more fragile. So at the end of the day, glass and PEI are probably my two favorite surfaces, I guess would probably be the best way to do. Tom Taylor says, happened to me a few times, glass and PEI. Yeah. When you're printing with PETG on glass, it will grab that surface and it will pull chunks out of the glass. It'll pull chunks out of PEI. So you really have to be careful about that. But if you put an interference layer between them, such as glue stick, it's going to allow that to release. Or if you put some blue painter's tape down or anything like that, it's going to allow your PETG to release from the bed without damaging your bed. Now, if you're using blue tape, blue painter's tape on your bed, you may have to go back with a little bit of alcohol and just get some of that that glue from the tape residue off of your surface. But you know, either way, you're going to be cleaning it up. If you use PVA glue or glue stick, in the case that like I use, just take it over to the sink, wash it off, dry it off, clean it with a little bit of alcohol, and then you're ready for your next print. Gary T, after the holiday food season, everyone has that fun house look. Yes, we all have that fun house look. Yeah, Tom uses glue stick all the time, no tape. I use glue stick all the time as well. Anytime I see it on sale, I buy a 3-pack. And I try to buy the taller, thicker ones. I just find that they last a lot longer. I've got, I think, 3 packages up on the coffee table upstairs that I haven't put away yet, that my wife keeps giving me that look for. Yeah, it's I don't like tape either. I used tape in the very, very early part of my 3D printing journey when I got started in this. Now I've been at it for, well, I've had the show for 5 years, and I started 3D printing 2 years before that. And so 7 years, we're coming up on 8 years now when I started 3D printing. And I got to tell you, I've learned a lot. I've been able to share with you my experiences in learning, and I've been able to teach you guys not to make the same mistakes that I did. When you are purchasing a 3D printer, I know that now we're getting inundated with a lot of new 3D printers. They're starting to hit the market again, and new motherboards are coming out. They're starting to hit the market again. Just be wary. Be wary of channels that get these products in and only say nice things about them. You want to know the pros and the cons of everything that you're putting into your 3D printing hobby, whether that be hardware, software, or even the materials that you use. So, something to be very, very wary about. Let's see, what else do we have here? Great to correct for slightly bumpy beds. Yeah, glue stick is good for that. RT, what do you think the next big thing in 3D printing will be? I think the next big thing in 3D printing is going to be more than 3-axis. And we're starting to see that now. X, Y, and Z, which is 3-axis that we typically print in now. I know there are some printers that are just starting to get some traction that are 5-axis 3D printers. And they've slowly been trickling out over the last year. I can't name a manufacturer right at the moment, but I think 5-axis is going to be our next big thing, or our next big innovation in 3D printing. You've got companies like E3D that have been working on their multi-material system. Prusa's been working on their multi-material system. Nobody seems to be doing really big beds anymore. I have a hard time finding anything over, say, about 400 millimeter bed size. I know that you can do things like a rat rig at 500, and you can buy Creality 500s as well, and some other brands. But nobody has really talked about being able to get larger prints, or having a larger printer to do larger prints on a consumer-based 3D printer. And I think that's something that we're going to maybe see as well, is the return of larger format FDM style printers. Yeah, Gary says he's keeping an eye out on the multi-axis printers. Yeah, it's slowly starting to trickle out, and we're going to see what is the next big printer design. Now, as far as what's happening with 3D printers or printing in general, yesterday I watched a video on Adam Savage's Tested. And anybody that knows me knows I'm a fan, and I love Adam Savage's stuff. I love what he does. I love how he interacts with his community. He doesn't have a swelled head about things. And he was talking with Sophie Wong. And if you know who Sophie Wong is, she is a maker, and she uses 3D printing in fashion. Yesterday she was showing off a jacket, a faux leather jacket that she had done with some 3D printing and added some LEDs, and it looked amazing. And then she showed off a dress and sort of a wig slash helmet slash crown sort of thing. And the way that she did it and the innovation that she's taking in it, there are so many applications that can be done with 3D printing in that respect. And we're going to explore some of that stuff. I talked to my good friend yesterday, Ben Eady. For anybody that doesn't know Ben is a model maker, and works in the film industry. He worked on Ghostbusters, and you'll have seen him on Tested from time to time. He is a good friend of the channel, a good friend of mine, and he lives right here in Calgary. We're hoping to get him at our next year's Maker Faire as a speaker to come and talk about 3D printing and making in general. Speaking of Maker Fairs, if you've got a Maker Faire in your local area, one that's coming up, keep an eye on when they are coming up and go check them out. There's so much more to making than just 3D printing. There are ways of using different products. At our maker fair here, we saw everything from a young lady using an old-timey loom to robotics and everything in between. And it was quite fascinating to see all of these different makers. There was even people making food. That being said, I think that if you have a maker fair close to you, I recommend that you go check it out. I mean, you just can't have a better afternoon or a whole day of fun by going to a maker fair. Jim, he says, I got to fly. The little man is up and the parade's going to start soon. Have a great night. You too, Jim. You have yourself a great, great evening, and it's nice to see you again. We'll be in touch, you and I. Leighton, unfortunately, I've got to go now, and thank you for the helpful advice. I'm very grateful. You're very, very welcome. This is why I do what I do. Getting back into this after a couple of false starts this year, I'm really happy to be doing this again and bringing to you this on a weekly basis. Alterations. I've done a few SLA resin prints from JLC PCB, and they seem to be amazing quality and good pricing. Oh, that's awesome. I haven't done any of their 3D prints. I am going to be putting in an order, I think, in the new year for some PCBs for some stuff that I want to do. And we are going to be back doing that kind of stuff in the very near future as well. So with that said, it doesn't look like there's many questions, and it looks like people are kind of dropping off. So I want to say thank you again for tuning in today and being a part of the live stream. If you got something out of today, please make sure that you hit that like button if you haven't already. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It does go a long way to helping our metrics. Leave a comment down below in the comment section after the stream has stopped, if you'd like. Again, it goes a long way to getting this show out to more people, increasing our numbers, and just giving us a better overall rating on YouTube. And it helps with our metrics. So I do appreciate that very, very much. So thank you again. Until I see you guys next Sunday at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, remember that the first layer is always your foundation to a great print. We'll see you guys next time. And don't forget to watch Tim's live stream today at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Tim will be back, and he's going to be, I think he's talking about his Voron again. If I'm not mistaken, he's going to continue that. And we'll see you guys all again next Sunday at 2 p.m. right here. Grab your drink, get something to eat, and we're going to talk about 3D printing again. Talk to you guys soon.